Angie. I'm in my studio today and I want to show you the easiest way to practice on a quilt when you have a long arm or even a domestic sewing machine. It'll help you with your free motion quilting. The actual panel is loaded onto the frame. I'm getting ready to quilt it. I'm using my quilt clips from Grace Company and just floating the quilt top. And I'll go ahead and quilt this. And I'm going to baste it first. So I'm going to baste the top and the sides. This is basting the quilt. Make sure it's all nice and straight and even when I go to quilting it. And it doesn't shift on me. I'm actually basting it with a 1/2 inch basting stitches per inch, so that way I can rip them out later. They're big stitches, I can rip them out later. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get started stitching. I like to use 12 stitches per inch. I know a lot of people like to use 10, but it just they're kind of big stitches for me, so I like to use the 12 to make it a nice and where it looks like I've used a sewing machine. Okay, now as you can see, I got off to a really rocky start. My tension was not right, and I think my bobbin thread needed to be readjusted. So what I did was I made a whole new, I rethreaded the needle, tried it again, still broke. I went ahead and just rethreaded the whole thing all the way from start to finish, which is from up here all the way down. Let me see, and you can see it's kind of quite the process to thread it. And that still didn't work. So I went ahead and, of course, I called my husband because he is a sewing machine mechanic. So I went ahead and had him look at it, and he rethreaded the bobbin. We put a whole new needle in it, and it started sewing perfectly. So there's the rest of it has good tension. And that is why it's very important to practice on it a little bit before you start sewing on a actual quilt. So now that I got this top part, just practice, I'm going to start with the first half here. And just so I put this tape here because this is how far my long arm reaches until it stops. So I didn't want to just sudden stop and then it would look funny. What I think I'm gonna do is go ahead and roll that up a little farther down to where I have this whole thing as to quilt this whole thing without stopping. So I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. decided to go ahead and quilt this top before I take off my tape because I am testing this out for the Grace Company, and they wanted a picture of the first frame. But I think for the rest of them, I'll go ahead and I'll make it go to where I can do the full blocks each time. But they did want a picture of the first frame after I completed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that before I take the tape off and roll it up. There is my first frame, and I will roll this up, take it off of all my sides to where they're not pulling, and I'll roll it up and start on my second frame. I think there's probably like 4 or 5 frames on here. Well, I'm thinking that I miscalculated on this. I probably should have done the other way rather than this way, because look how much I have left. I don't have enough backing, so it was probably my fault, not Grace Company's. But I really like how it turned out, and I'll unroll this and show you. Just like I said, it's just little practice things. Don't have to be perfect. As you can see, I really like to do loop-de-loops, but it's nice to be able to practice on like something different. So I'll go ahead and unroll this and show you what it all looks like. Things I've learned from this experiment. So I had a great time practicing on the long arm. Of course, that's always fun. Like a lot of loop-de-loops, just messing around with a few things. The first part was not so good, but I've got kind of got the groove a little bit and got my tension issues fixed, which is very good that it's a practice quilt. Down here got a little better, so I was able to do a few more little artistic things. And then down here was even better. I used my ruler, did a few things, just practicing. I think that's called finger or something, quilting. Did a few little things here. I thought that was kind of cute. My problem was I needed to measure from there to there, because apparently that was my length and not the width. So at the very bottom, I didn't have enough backing for the very bottom, but that's okay. At least, you know, it's just a practice quilt, so that is just fine. But I did learn that it's a very good thing to practice before you actually get started quilting, especially if you're haven't done it for a couple weeks or so. Then kind of get it back, make sure your tension is good, you know, things like that. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I think I may even purchase another one of these just so I can practice some more, because the best thing that you can do in order to get better at the craft is to practice. Hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and click the subscribe to see what I have in store next week. Thanks for watching.